Hello, good morning. I'm doing a weekly reading vlog. Welcome. First off, I thought I would start with a little bit of a catch up on what I've been up to, a little bit of book catch up. I've been reading the Shadow and Bone series because Litjoy and Owlcrate both announced that they were doing the Grishaverse books. No idea what Owlcrate's is going to look like or how much it's going to cost, but Litjoy are doing not Shadow and Bone. Litjoy are doing Six of Crows first, and it's pricey. It's like $125, 2 books. So I started with Shadow and Bone, had it in my head I'm going to have a chance to read all 3 Shadow and Bone books, and then move on to Six of Crows and read those before Litjoy releases the Six of Crows set. Didn't happen. I've read the first 2 books in the Shadow and Bone series. I found the first one a bit meh, because I've watched the first series in the Netflix show, so I figured maybe I didn't enjoy it because I knew what was going to happen, because I've seen the first series. But then I read book 2, Shadow and Bone, and it was really, really boring. There was like one compelling character, which was Sturmhond. He was my favourite character in book 2. And so like the first part of the book was really exciting and more interesting, and I was like, oh yes, finally, like we're getting to some good stuff, like this is what I needed. And then like after that first section, I was just like, it just kind of went it didn't seem to recover. Also, what's with the Darkling? The only reason I wanted to read the Shadow and Bone books is because everyone, when the TV show came out, I could see people talking about the Darkling, like, oh my gosh, the Darkling, oh my gosh, he's so amazing, he's so sexy, and like, I'm like, where have they got this idea from? Because like, that doesn't come across to me in the TV show. So I was like, maybe there's more to it. Maybe the books have got more content. Maybe there's like stuff that hasn't been included in the TV show, but that's not the case. I don't understand what everyone's obsession with the Darkling is, like, especially from the books. If you've like read the books, like, where's the obsession? I don't understand it. I don't feel like he's on page that much, and when he is, he's pretty evil. Like, I don't get it. Can someone explain to me what is so good about the Darkling? I don't get it. I don't get it. Nikolai, however, hello, yes please. Anyway, finished second book of Shadow and Bone, did not enjoy it. I think I'm quitting Shadow and Bone. I don't think I'm going to bother with the final book. If you think that's wrong and that's a bad decision, let me know. Talk me into it. If you think I should read it, talk me into it. Persuade me. So I moved on to Six of Crows. I've actually only read like 2.5 chapters, 3 chapters maybe. I'm on page 40. The start of this has me more intrigued than Shadow and Bone. I know that there is supposed to be some sort, I'm assuming, relationship between Inej and Kaz, just from what I have seen online. I've heard Six of Crows is way better, but I haven't got far enough into it to find out. And then Litjoy did release the books, and I was just worried, like, if I try like reading more of this and I don't get them, because I have pre-sale access, I was like, what if they sell out really quickly? I feel like they won't because of how expensive they are, but you just don't want to take that risk. The Book of the Air series, I think, ran out very quickly, but then that's a popular one again, isn't it? But this is very popular, so I bought it. I did have some points to use for a discount code, so I got like $50 off it. So that's it, that's done, I've spent that money. Hopefully I like this because I've ordered a very expensive special edition of it. Final book chat thing, I got sent my very first advanced reader copy from Harper 360YN, and I requested this graphic novel called North Ranger by Ray Terciero and Brie Indigo. I picked this up because it said for fans of Heartstopper, and based on the synopsis of this, I was thinking it was something more like, I thought it was going to be fantasy. It's not fantasy. It's based off of Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, which I haven't read, but I actually really want to read after reading this. I give this 5 stars. I really, really, really enjoyed it. It comes out on the 23rd of May. It's really, really good. And it's going to be done in like this 2-tone colour. But the arc had black and white for the majority of the book, but the completed graphic novel is going to be this two-tone colour. I'm going to just read you the synopsis of this first of all. Cade Munoz has always loved to escape into the world of a good horror movie. After all, horror movies are scary, but to Cade, a closeted queer teen growing up in rural Texas, real life can be way scarier. When Cade is sent to spend the summer working as a ranch hand to help earn extra money for his family, he is horrified. The only silver lining is the company of two teens who live there, in particular, the ruggedly handsome and enigmatic Henry. But as unexpected sparks begin to fly between Cade and Henry, things get complicated. Henry is reluctant to share the mysterious details of several local deaths, and Cade begins to wonder what else he may be hiding. So our main character in this book is obsessed with horror films. So is Henry. So Cade and Henry love horror films. And because of his love for horror films, Cade can have a little bit of an overactive imagination. And I just loved this book. It was so fun. Trigger warnings for this book, I am going to read them because there are a lot. If you don't want to know the trigger warnings, maybe skip ahead like 30 seconds, something like that. It says here that North Ranger contains moments of homophobia, misogyny, racism, domestic violence, animal cruelty, and confronting death. I did cry reading this book. There was stuff in there that was a little bit triggering for me, but I still found it readable and enjoyable. It's really, really fun. It doesn't get very serious until towards the end of the book, so the majority of the book is just really good fun. The reason the book contains so many of these triggers is because the author has experience with these things, so they have tried to be as delicate as possible whilst still showcasing things that happen in the world. Rita Sierra is a queer writer who is drawn to strong female protagonists, and Bray Indigo is a queer black artist who loves to tell stories about gentle boys, strong girls, and the great folk in between. This book is less romance-based than Heartstopper. If you're a horror fan, I think you will really, really like this book. Like, if you've been into horror films, you'll really enjoy this. I really enjoyed it, and I'm a big horror fan. So if you want a little bit of romance with some horror mixed in and then some real world horrors, try this. I really enjoyed it. 5 stars. Really, really good. This arrived on a Saturday morning. I opened it, I got my cup of tea, and I read it there and then. I didn't stop. I started and it was it. I was done. Thank you, Harper365A, for sending this to me. It's out on the 23rd of May. If it's something you're interested in. Look how cute the artwork is. The artwork inside is really, really cute. And it varies in details. The facial expressions are very, very good. And finally, a quick little life update. Something that I can look back on. When I do vlogs, I like to put stuff in that I can look back on and rewatch. I went to see Paramore 2 days ago. They were really, really good. I didn't originally purchase tickets because they no longer played Misery Business Live. And I really wanted to see Misery Business Live. So the tickets were announced. I didn't buy them. And then after the tickets sold out, they started playing Misery Business on tour again. And I had so much regret not buying those tickets. So I signed up for a wait list. And then last week I got an email for waitlist tickets, spare tickets. And I managed to get some. And they were like side of the stage type seats. But they actually ended up being really good because you had the big screen like right here and then you could see everyone down the stage. We weren't seated. However, this has never happened when I have been seated before. As soon as Paramore came out, everyone stood up. Everyone. And they stayed stood up the whole time. The whole seated section of the arena was stood for the entire show. It was amazing. It felt like a gigantic party. They had so much energy. I really, really enjoyed it. I am going to stick some clips in from the show, just so I have something to look back at. And you can have a little sneak peek of what we saw. And then the morning we were supposed to be going, I decided to check who the opening artist was. And it was Bloc Party, who I also like. When I say I like these bands, these are bands that I used to listen to when I was a teenager. So I didn't know like their newer music. I made a playlist with like the set lists and I was revising. I'm a nerd. I was revising, trying to learn some of the songs before we went. Bloc Party were on, which is another band that I used to listen to when I was at uni, and I was so excited. I basically got a 2-for-1 on 2 people I've never seen live before, and it was just so good. Bloc Party were amazing. His voice is so good. I'm going to drop some clips in here. Hope you enjoy them, and then we'll see what else I get up to.
This feels so good. Gotcha. Manchester. You sound like some of you have been waiting on this song all night.
Hello, good morning. I completely failed to film anything else the other day. I did film my bookshelf top, which took me several hours and is going to take a very long time to edit. I am trying to get back into my fitness routine, which has fallen by the wayside because I am feeling rubbish because I'm not doing it. I have a Peloton bike. We got it about a year ago. It is very, very good. It's probably like the best thing I've ever paid for fitness wise, and I decided to invest in my health last year, and so we bought the Peloton, and I have been using it for about a year. I used it consistently up until like winter last year, and then November and December it kind of fell by the wayside. Picked it up again in January. I was on a 12-week streak and then I missed a couple of weeks, and I could tell the difference. I noticed I get water retention in my lower legs when I'm not doing it. So I do need to keep doing it, because when I'm not doing it, I can physically see the difference and I can feel the difference. I don't feel good. So I need to get back on track with that. I did it yesterday. I would like to do it again today. I want to get back to when we first started doing it, we were doing it 5 days a week. I would like to get back to that. I haven't been doing it 5 days a week. Mental health has also not been great. I do think I feel better after going on the bike. So again, probably another sign. I need to just get on the bike. Reading wise, I'm not doing good with my reading. I keep like starting books and I'm just not enjoying any of them. I am on page 111 of Six of Crows now, so I'm about 20% into this. It's not exciting me. It is interesting, like the main plot points of this drug that is going to be used on the Grisha, and them having to try and break into this high security prison and get this guy out for like a massive payout is interesting. I know everyone is obsessed with Kaz and Inej in this. Where's the romance going to come in? Is there even a romance, or is this like another thing like with Shadow and Bone where people just overhyped the Darkling? Is it one of those where nothing actually happens and people just ship them? I would like that to not be the case. I would like it to actually be a thing, because I'm going to be disappointed if it's not. I will hopefully at some point read more of this and hopefully do my exercise that I intend on doing, and I will catch up with you in a bit. Hello, I just filmed a video, so I figured I would use my lighting and setup just while I'm here because it's convenient, but something arrived in the post today and I'm excited. I think I might put Six of Crows to one side and read this instead, because this is the first time I felt excited about a book in a while, and it's In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klunes. I'm so excited. It has a beautiful sprayed edge. It's the Waterstones edition and it's signed. But I opened this box this morning and I squealed, and I think that's a sign that I need to just switch book and give this a go. So I think I'm gonna do that. What are you reading?
Storm Class.
finished reading In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klunes. I've got quite a bit to cover with this because I've not been doing regular updates. First off, I gave it 4 stars, really enjoyed it. I did seem to struggle with this one a little bit. Again, it was very different to his previous 2 books. They're all very different, but they also all have a really lovable set of characters. I think TJ Klunes really excels in creating these really lovable, adorable, interesting, funny characters. If you don't know what this one is about, it is a very loose Pinocchio retelling. As in, it takes aspects from Pinocchio, but it's not like a full retelling of Pinocchio. Our main character in this book is a human, but he is being raised by a robot called Gio. We have a found family aspect where he finds a couple of robots in the scrapyard and brings them back to life, repairs them. So he has a couple of friends. One is a vacuum cleaner that is very anxious and afraid of everything, and the other is a nurse robot who can be a little bit sadistic and is constantly threatening to drill people. We go on a little bit of an action adventure type story throughout this book, and we meet a few other characters along the way. I felt very torn with this book to begin with because I was really enjoying the character work. I thought the characters were funny, I was giggling, I was having these moments where I was really enjoying the dialogue between the characters. But then there was also this feel of lacking with the plot. But I do think a lot of that is because if you read the synopsis for this book, it pretty much tells you where it's going. I would advise against reading the synopsis if you haven't already, and I would go into this without knowing anything. But I think because I knew where the story was going to go, I was getting a bit bored waiting for certain things to happen because I knew where the story was going. So I did struggle at the beginning. There did end up being some twists in the book, and the ending was really emotional. As with all of TJ Klunes' books, he always manages to get me towards the end of the books. Tears were shed once again. And overall, I did enjoy this book, and it was 4 stars. I have one more TJ Klunes book that I own, which is Wolfsong, but the Wolfsong series won't be fully released until 2024, so I don't really want to be starting that yet. I think he does have another book coming out. I'm sure I've seen another standalone that's due. I'm not sure when that's due to be released, but I will definitely be picking up his next book. And I think TJ Klunes is currently an auto-buy author for me because I have enjoyed all of his books that I've read so far. And that rounds up this week's weekly vlog. So I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, as always, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you next time.
Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.